We're sitting in Waikato in the North Island of New Zealand. I grew up here. This is a dairy farm. In 2003 we were a pretty intensive dairy farm here. We won a National Farm Business Award for dairy, very production focused. We've slowly adapted to putting more of a sustainability lens on what we're doing. I often talk about the need to see where future profits are going to be well in advance. We're still maintaining top 10% profitability per hectare, and we're developing a really neat place to work and live. There's nothing better than working in an environment where biodiversity is flourishing, animal health, animal welfare is great, clean water, fresh water. We're really enjoying the gains that we're making as well. Most of the biodiversity we talk about is through retiring land and planting it, developing native areas where bird life can thrive, creating catchment areas that protect waterways, diversity of pastures, how we develop carbon-intense soils. We can offset nitrous oxide and other emissions with what we do, retiring marginal land, planting, carbon sequestration. Really aware of nutrients in the soil. This farm has 60 paddocks, every single paddock's been tested, building some data that let us only apply what's needed, not in a wasteful manner, using that fertiliser resource a lot more accurately. It's part of, I think, the precision farming that we will produce more with less mentality. A lot of our focus is around being able to manage pasture better nutritionally, high quality forage, particularly homegrown forage that can back up our low carbon gains. We know that some of the old tools that we had in our toolbox won't be relevant anymore. You know, we want to see softer chemicals, we want to see innovative ways of dealing to pests. The genetics are going to play a huge part, and they have played a huge part over the last few years, particularly when we're looking at carbon intensity per kilo of product produced. So if we can produce with better genetics the same amount of meat quicker and market it with lower footprint, it's hugely beneficial to our value proposition. It's a little bit new for New Zealand dairy to be thinking about beef integration, especially dairy beef. A lot of surplus calves out of dairy have been perceived as a waste product. We know in a world where waste's a dirty word, it's a no-brainer for us that we utilise that resource and do the best we can with it. The carbon footprint out of dairy is 30% less than out of traditional beef. We're able to capture that on farm. We're able to implement a lot of strategies on farm that drop our carbon per kilo and develop a product that's pretty smart. I think a lot of what we're doing here is doing animals well. Big growth rates, trying to average about 1.1 kilos a day on pasture, and then harvesting surplus grass, taking it back to our winter milk dairy operation. Very low intensity, but highly rewarding. I think we are in an environment where we're going to get detractors. The best way to handle that challenge is to stand up tall and tell your story and be proud of what you do, but also be really aware of how you're doing it.